Some I held, some slipped away. One street over where my memories exist. I wondered what would change, I really couldn't say. In this life there's nothing certain, except the curtain that rises to the stage. Silly games of second guessing, I just forget the lessons that I couldn't learn. Because one street over there's a life I could have known that would have kept me from the one I had today. Except the curtain that rises to the stage. Silly games of second guessing, I just forget the lessons that I couldn't learn. Because one street over there's a life I could have known that would have kept me from the one I had today.
Good morning, Robertson County. This is 1100 WSGI. I'm Utah Laverne, and this is One Street Over. How you doing? This is a little opportunity, if you're new, to just kind of see what's going on One Street Over from where you are. And we typically have guests in here every morning, 7 to 7:30. Then the new one, we've got Pulley and Tiffany Thompson coming in from United Way at 7:30. But in Burbank, we don't have a guest in here from 7 to 7:30, so you got me. But there's several things I want to cover. Those of you who know me know that it's no problem for me to fill the time. So there's several things. We're going to cover some events that are going on around town. A couple of things I'm just going to kind of fill you in on. So until Ryan and Tiffany get here. I do have to say hello to Paul Rainey this morning because I don't know if you guys were on a couple of days ago. I guess it's a couple of days ago. I hit a button in here on the console, and I was disoriented trying to find my way on the control board, and I inadvertently blocked my friend Paul Rainey. And it was so bizarre because, I mean, if you watch the show, you see his name on here all the time, and he is such a loyal friend and fan of the show, and I blocked him. And it was so funny. He is one of the ones that helps me at church with so many different things, and I saw him last night, and he's like, I don't know what happened. And it's just so funny how you can accidentally do things with technology. And it just takes you a minute to kind of, back it out, walk the trail and see what's going on, see if you can figure it out. So publicly, I apologize, Paul Rainey, for blocking you from the show. But he's back, and he's there saying hello this morning and hello to everyone out in Robertson County and all those who can hear us. And, he reminds you of what's going on here at Ebenezer Broadcasting. Cannot say enough about this. It is so much fun because more and more folks are discovering that we have got a worldwide Christian broadcast facility right here in Robertson County. And I have been talking about bringing some of my students in from the audio video program at Greenbrier, and just haven't had a chance to do that yet. I'm still trying to get acclimated to teaching. That's such an interesting thing. I walked into the teachers lounge yesterday at Greenbrier. And bless her, one of the teachers there who's been at this a very long time, she says, so what do you think about what the news media says about how anybody can come in here and do this? And I told her, I said, well, number one, I've never thought that. I've never been one of those who've been at all dismissive about what teachers do. But I have kind of been jealous of your summers off and your breaks and all of that, I'll just say. But, oh my goodness, you earn them because of, and you hit the ground at a school when you're a teacher and you don't blink, because if you do, you're going to have a problem with the kiddos, I mean, you can't turn your back on them. So, I mean, that's just all there is to it. And it's not, you've just got, it's a lot. And that's the best way to describe it. All my teacher friends, as they knew that I was going to be coming in and teaching, they would just tell me, they said, it's a lot, Laverne. Are you sure you're ready for this? And so I told her, I said, oh no, I said, it's been more, I guess the thing is, if you're interested in possibly, maybe entering the teaching field, and there's so many folks like myself that maybe have a degree and they have the qualifications that could possibly allow them to get their master's and teach. My friend Matt Driscoll, he is getting his master's right now, and he is teaching, let's see if I can get it right. He is teaching government, psychology, and sociology, I think, are the subjects he's teaching at Greenbrier High School. And he's getting his master's to allow him to have a certification to teach. Now, I'm coming from it from a professional perspective. They have teachers in the CTE program, which is the career program or the career path. And so if you're a teacher like myself, there is a program that you can tap into that the state has approved, and it's basically an intensified program that is ran in Rutherford County. And so I'm tapping into that to get my certification. And it's very much a path that, if you're interested, man, they need you. We need teachers. We have a shortage of teachers right now. So there's so many people that are seeing that, this is something maybe I'm interested in. But I got to tell you, make sure that you are prepared, because it's a lot. And I just, get kind of tickled at all my teacher friends that have been telling me that, and they hear that out of my mouth all the time now. It's a lot. But as I've been trying to just kind of get settled and comfortable with it, I haven't yet brought any students in. And I've got a couple of them in one of my classes that they really want to come on. And so we're going to do that after fall break. We are Robertson County. If you're not connected to the school district, if you don't have kids, family in school, you might not realize next week is fall break. So you won't see the buses out there. My husband works with the buses, and they will be taking a break, and you will, not have to worry about the school zones next week. But everybody's taking a break next week. I'm taking a break, and because, I'm going to start taking some of the school breaks even from radio, because Lee Marie does such a beautiful job. And she's going to be filling in for me next week. That's why we had Clint and Pat that filled in for her yesterday, so they can fill in for her next week. So we're increasing and broadening the WSGI family. And if that's something you really think you would like to do, especially if you have something faith-based, a program that you want to share, there's so many people out there that they're doing podcasts, they're doing different ministry programs. Maybe you've got a book on your heart, you've got something that God's burdening you with, and you want to share it. Well, talk to Ilyu and talk to him about what the possibilities are and what you can bring on these airways. And again, this is a Christian broadcast facility, so it has to be Christ-based. And but there are so many things you can talk about. So many things. I'm going to talk about decisions, choices, and options here in a minute. And that is a program that's in our public schools. And it's something, if you've got something that you want to share that's going to better our community and isn't in conflict with Christian values, that's the kind of thing that they're looking for here at Ebenezer Broadcasting. So we invite you to come and be a part of that. So much going on in this community, so many things I want to tell you about. Again, it's no problem for me not to have a guest this morning, because I got a long list of things I want to cover. First off, we've talked about fall break, talked about getting some students on the air. I want to mention to you something that I don't think we talk enough about. Now, we talk a lot about Celebrate Recovery, because I am the ministry leader for Celebrate Recovery at the Madison Church of Christ. Matt Driscoll is the ministry leader for Celebrate Recovery at Epiphany Baptist Church, and he comes on a lot. Now, he hasn't been on lately simply because he's teaching, like I am. He'll probably be on during the Christmas break. If I were doing the show next week, we would have him on next week, but Lee Marie, I think, already has some of that booked. But I can't not say enough about Celebrate Recovery. It is a program that I think a lot of people do not really realize what it's all about. I've gotten phone calls in the last few weeks, people within my congregation asking me for specifics about Celebrate Recovery, where maybe them or somebody that they love is struggling with something that's not chemical related. And they're saying, well, I'm going through this in my life. My loved one's going through that. I hear Celebrate Recovery might be something that I could tap into for all of these issues. And, I don't think we stress enough that Celebrate Recovery is about 30% people who are dealing with a chemical or alcohol type addiction. The other 70% are dealing with all the other life issues. And I mean, it is a wide spectrum from food issues. That's a big one for a lot of people. There are all kinds of addictive behaviors with spending and gambling and working too much. We hear this codependent. Oh my goodness, I never knew what codependent was. But people who try to fix other people all the time, and they think that, and as a parent, that's something that we really struggle with, is we want to fix our kids' lives, and we don't really set them up to really understand how to live life. And I think that's one of the most profound things that I'm hoping that I can help with in the generation of kids that are in high school right now, is helping them to understand that when they graduate, that life is for them to be responsible and to be an active member of society and a productive member of society, and to get off the gaming and all of those things that distract them far too much these days. So I'm really hoping that that's something that, that I can help with. But as I'm unpacking that, codependency is a real big one that we hear about in Celebrate Recovery. And anything, a lot of people that are dealing with, one of the things that I deal with is that I grew up in a very structured church environment. And as a young person, I had a lot of questions because as a girl, and I talk a lot about Christy McClellan, and I feel so connected to her because in her lessons that I've studied, she talks about growing up in rural Mississippi, and she's a profound Bible teacher, just extraordinary. She teaches at Williams College in Franklin, and she has been picked up by Lifeway, and her work has just exploded worldwide. And there's a reason, because it's so deep and so good and so researched and so authentic. And but anyway, she talks about being, and she's probably 10 years younger than me, I'd say at least, and maybe a little bit more than that, maybe about 12. But so she grew up a generation behind me, but still was told as a young girl that teaching the Bible was not a girl's job, not something that a girl could do. And one of these Fridays, when we have a Faith Friday, I'm going to unpack my journey with that and the issues that I've had growing up in a tribe of faith that, say women be silent in the church, and how I've struggled with that because I have felt called into ministry my entire life. And I tell people, I said, I remember vividly as a child, a missionary coming to our congregation and being so just caught up in what he had to share and what he had to say. And then we got home, and I was very, very young, because I was young enough that I still had like a piggy bank and that kind of a thing. And I remember very clearly getting the piggy bank or whatever it is I was, saving money and giving it to my dad and wanting him to send it to the missionary for me. And I remember him looking at me and saying, "Are you sure?" Because I know as a parent, he didn't want me to wake up the next morning going, crying because I'd, given away my savings or whatever. But, he said, "Are you sure?" And I was like, yeah. And he took it. And what he didn't realize is that I felt that calling on my life at that moment, that's what I'm going to do. And so I had that again, a calling from God, I feel like, at that time. But because I grew up in a faith or a congregation of faith that did not tell women to pursue that. I mean, and to this day, I can have this conversation with people. And I'm a member of the Church of Christ, and they're my family. And I can still have that conversation with maybe my elders or leadership in the church, and they talk about, well, but women have their jobs. And my answer to that is, yes, we have had the same calling on our life that God put on men, and I believe that with all my heart. And there's differences. Don't. I'm not that person that is a feminist in any way. I believe very clearly in the divisions between men and women, and there's things that I'm good at and things men are good at. But when it comes to the call that God has in our lives to share our faith, I believe there's so much that we're missing out on, and that we're not embracing with women. And anyway, so with all that said, that's what I struggle with, and one of my things with CR that I have to deal with. So when we come together at CR, we introduce ourselves as, hi, I'm Laverne. I'm a grateful believer in Jesus Christ. We always identify our higher power, because one thing when you get into a 12-step program is that you will forget sometimes, or people they'll say higher power, and they never really identify what that is. And it's almost kind of a nod back to ancient times when they knew there had to be a creator. There's so many people that are agnostic out there. They see the detail of the creation, and they know there has to be a designer, but they don't want to equate it to God and Jesus, because they just don't want those restrictions in their life, and they just think that they have this impression of God being this wrathful God, and they don't really understand his heart. And if you're struggling with that, I encourage you to get online to Newland's Bible and find Christy McClellan's study she does. It's called Israel, and it goes from Genesis to Revelations. It's profound, and it gives you such a beautiful understanding of that. Again, I chase rabbits, y'all know that. But nonetheless, I'm talking about CR and the things that we offer. My journey of trying to understand God's calling on my life has been hard, and it's led somewhat to bitterness and resentment, because I don't feel like I've had the opportunity as a woman that the men in my tribe have had. And man, I have to really fight that resentment. It makes me really bitter and angry sometimes. And so I'm having to deal with that, because that's not the calling God has on my life for sure. He has that for me just to share what he's put there. And so that's some of the stuff that I'm working through with CR. And a lot of people have had to deal with church hurt and things like that, or they're dealing with family issues that have taken them down a road where they just don't know what to do. They've raised their children exactly as God told them to, and then their kids go off this way, and they get chemically addicted or something like that, and they're struggling to understand how to process through that. All of the things we'll sometimes say in CR are what Celebrate Recovery is about. And so I really encourage you guys, if you're in a situation in a faith-based community and you feel like things just aren't real anymore, and that's something that the younger generation is saying when they come to congregations to worship, they don't feel like they're being real with each other. We're told in Scripture to confess our sins to each other so we may be healed, because when we tell each other our stuff, when we're just real and raw with people, others go, yeah, I'm struggling with that same thing. And maybe you can help me walk through that. So that's what CR is about. 30% of it, yeah, there's a lot of chemical and alcohol addiction out there. There's a lot of food addiction. There's a lot of porn addiction. Good land. Because of the internet, that's breathtaking what's going on there. But it's people who you pass every day. We're getting ready for a recovery court graduation coming up 27th of October. And when you go there, there's always a segment of that program where they will share the ones that aren't with us anymore, that didn't make it through the program, the ones that maybe have been prayed over and fought for, and they didn't make it. And what always strikes me when I watch that video of those who we're remembering, because they have been, we've lost them to things that are addiction related. They look just like everybody you see walking down the street. They look like your grandmas and your grandpas. And the students that I have in school, they look just like the people who I go to church with, who I see driving down the road, who I see in the grocery store, who I see. There's no type when it comes to that. It's not the people who you see that are homeless. Of course, there's a lot of addiction and things like that. When it comes to homeless community, Charlene Sullivan's on the show, or she's in comments here on the program this morning from my father's house. They see that. Working in the Benevolent Center at the Madison Church of Christ, I saw that so much. And so there's all those things, of course, but again, it's just one of those things that we need to be real about, we need to be honest about. And if you want to come to a group where people are being real, they're being what the early church called us to be, that's what you're going to find in Celebrate Recovery. So we had our meeting last night at the Madison Church of Christ, the Epiphany Church, the Epiphany Baptist Church. They have theirs on Tuesday night here locally. Their Long Hollow Baptist Church has theirs on Monday night, and it's a huge one. Northfield Church has one on Thursday night. Let's see. So that's got Monday, Tuesday, Wednesday, Thursday. Friday night, I'm wanting to say there's one in Hendersonville, maybe at New Shackle Island. I'm not sure. There's one at the Nazarene Church on Saturday. Then you can go to church on Sunday. Literally every night, there are a group of Christians getting together just to help each other through the hurts, habits, and hang-ups of life. And so with all that said, one of the things I wanted to tell you, and this is kind of silly and funny, but I've gotten 3 chips since I've been there. We start out with these little blue chips, and that's the thing. You just got something you're wanting to work through that you're wanting to give to God. And my first one was just all the spiritual hang-ups I've got, all the echoes of bitterness and resentment that I have in my life. That's my main one, right? Well, then I had another one that I got because I've just been praying, I don't know, with a burden of prayer, really, for my son who says he no longer believes in God, and feeling like I had any control over it, which I don't. And it was just really a laying down of that prayer, going, I'm laying it down, Lord. I know you've got it. So that was my second one. And I got my third one last night. Il Maldonado will appreciate this, because it's kind of a tongue-in-cheek joke here that I come flying in here on 2 wheels most mornings. And it's been my goal for a while to get in here 30 minutes ahead of the show so I can sit down and get my breath and be ready for the show. And also to spend a few minutes working on the things God's burdened with me to write and to share. And this is a good place for it, because I just love being in a radio studio, because I've grown up in radio. I've been in radio since 1980. And so even though I'm just 2 miles down the road, I'm dangerously close to this place. So that's one reason why I have had the habit of coming in here at the last minute. So I've been trying to turn over a new leaf of getting here at 6:30. And for the record, all of you who were with me at CR last night, I pulled in the parking lot at 6:30. So I did it. I told them to all hold me accountable, because I got a chip for that. But I tell you all that to illustrate the point. CR's for anything. Oh, Brian, come on in here, buddy. I told him, I said, you get on in here anytime, because I'm in here by myself today, and I haven't taken a breath yet. I've started talking. It's really, I don't know what that says about me, that I can open a microphone and say, hey, I got no guests, but I can just talk about all the things. I've been telling them all kinds of stories. I don't know if you've been listening or not.
It means you're good at what you do. That's what I think it means.
Thank you.
Or you're just talking to yourself. Well,
I'm good at that too. Well, I've been talking about Celebrate Recovery and all the things, because I got a chip last night. You'll appreciate this, because I'm so late getting to the radio station every morning. I do. I come flying. You're not here at 7 because you're a 7:30 guest, so you don't realize. I mean, I literally come in here sometime 3 minutes before we go on
You're
there.
skating on 2 wheels when you come in.
Coming in on 2 wheels.
Yeah.
And I've been trying to turn over a new leaf to get in here in time to do a little bit of writing before I go on, because I love the peace of the studio. I love being in a studio. You know, everybody talks about podcasting and stuff at their kitchen table. No, I love being in a studio.
There's a feel to it that it's like, I mean, this one's been around for a little while, and it definitely has a little
Spirit
bit
of radio.
Yeah, it does. There's something to it when you get in here.
And so I just like coming in here. So I got me a new chip last night at Celebrate Recovery to get to the radio station at 6:30. And I told him, I said, that's the thing. Celebrate Recovery is for the heavy things of life, like chemical and alcohol and all the things that we hold in our heart that we don't need to. But it's also for the silly things like, give me some accountability. I told my friends last night, I said, I'm getting this chip, and I'm gonna be on this one, man, because I've got to do it. I've got to do it.
Did you get in here today?
I did.
Good for you.
I pulled in the parking lot at 6:30.
Yeah, good for you.
I walked in. I think I scared you. He's like, "You're here." I'm like, "I know." Isn't it great? I'm excited. So, how are you doing?
I'm wonderful. It is a beautiful morning here in Robertson County. The leaves are popping. It looks like it happened overnight.
I know.
I mean, isn't it wild? We were I was driving my daughter to school this morning, and I guess it was the way the sun was hitting it, or whatever. But it was just like all the colors are popping out. I know we could all use some rain, but it has been just a beautiful fall, and
it is.
It's gorgeous. I'm trying to soak it up because we know it's coming behind it, and it's go cold, rainy mess. But right now it's gorgeous. It's just a beautiful time to be living here.
Amen, amen, and amen. And and that's one thing. We're all praying for a very mild winter. I know we all like a little bit of snow, but not this year because gas prices are so crazy.
Yes.
I mean, natural gas prices. Ryan Martin's been in here, and he's been talking about it for a couple of months now, just to kind of get people braced. They've quadrupled.
Well, that's
quadrupled.
We've got gas, so that's good to know. Yeah,
us too.
Yeah,
and my husband, he was like, "I'm gonna turn the heat on." I'm like, "No, you're not. Put on a sweater."
We will wait. That's what hoodies and socks were made for, right?
I'm serious.
We will wait.
I am serious.
Yes.
Get you some of them little electric heaters, maybe to heat some key rooms and keep that gas off as long as you can. My gas logs probably won't get turned on at all this year.
Yeah, we've got
because I've got some,
and I need to get them replaced too. Because I think we have some old ones that came with the house, and we wanted to get those replaced, and so it might make it a little more fuel efficient maybe to do it. 'Cause we do use it's good if the power goes out or something like that. Or
absolutely.
That's
take
what
the chill off.
Yeah, we'll heat up the living room. At least we can pile up in there during a particularly snowy day or whatever. So yeah.
Yeah, and I know those snowy days are nice and cozy and all of that. But I'm now after talking to Ryan, I'm
quadruple.
Like, I think that's what it. Like 8 times more. I mean, is that quadrupled would be 4?
4, yeah.
So would that be?
I haven't been in
times?
school in a while, but
See, I'm not good. I'm not good with that.
It's a lot more. Your bill's going to be much higher. So
yeah, it's not double.
Yeah,
it's going to be like 4 times as high.
Well, they put the suggested where you should put your thermometer on and all that, and I know everybody laughs at that because some people like their house 62 in the summer and then they want it 75 in the winter. You got to have that helps a little bit. My wife's very good about that, and you will get accustomed to it. You know what I mean? You can do that where it's not you're putting so much stress on your units and then you're having to pay all that money. I don't like paying all that money every month. So
well, and I've got a new heating and cooling unit, and I'm hoping that's going to help. I have noticed it has helped with my electric bill this summer, and it's not been as high because it's just more efficient.
Right.
And so I'm hoping that's going to equate to some more efficiency. But keep that in mind, guys.
Yeah.
Pray for a mild winter. Pray for a mild winter and an early spring.
They said we're going to have a rough one, and then the old wives' tale is.
I know.
The fogs in August, or whatever, will be how many snows you get. And I know it was foggy at our house a lot in August. And I remember this, the year my daughter was born, we were home a lot. And you remember a lot of stuff because she was a baby. And we had a really foggy, a lot of fogs, right after she was born in July. So right after that. And that winter was the coldest winter. I mean, that was the one that was -4. It's not, I know. I'm just telling you, get ready. Get your blankets out. Get your hoodies
out. And save your money. Save your pennies. Maybe don't spend so much at Christmas and all that. But we'll get through it. I'll tell you what. I haven't done any ads. Can you believe that? It is like
I will help you.
Well, of course, Cumberland Connect. What's up?
We love them. I have nothing yet. I've seen them a couple of times around my neighborhood, but nothing yet. I think they told us. I mean, I think end of the year is what we can probably expect realistically. I know they don't want to tell you it's going to be November, and so end of the year is probably the safe thing. But we're nothing yet. So I'm still paying a Spectrum bill for this month, and that's short lived. As soon as we can get it clicked on, we're done. So
well, see, that's the thing. Now, I think you'll get it. I think you'll get it by Thanksgiving.
We were out a little before. They were out there a little before yours, so I think maybe a month or two.
Yeah,
so that's probably
because I'm supposed to have it by the end of the year, and they may not. I mean, just things are what they are, and so. But they've put up the utility poles on my road, so I know that we're in their line of sight. There's Tiff; she can come on in too. So we're in their line of sight. And I've failed to have a 7:30 guest, and I've reached out to Brian and said, "Come on in." Tiffany's going, "What are y'all doing?"
Radio. It's just
I didn't car died at the bottom of the
Oh
road.
no.
You're kidding.
Put it up the hill.
Oh no! So your car is broken down on the road. Are you safe? Do you have it pulled? over?
Yeah, I have it pulled over.
Oh, bless your heart.
So good morning this morning.
Well, good morning.
Oh, bless your heart. Let's finish up the Cumberland Connect and then we'll say hi to Tiffany. But here's the bottom line. If you have Cumberland Electric, you're going to have access to Cumberland Connect. And it is going to be 1,000 megabits up to 1,000 megabits per second, and that's a gig. There's not going to be any data caps. You're going to get a Wi-Fi 6 router included with internet service at no extra charge, 24/7, 365 days a year. You're going to get technical support. You've got a referral program. If you want to know, just like Brian and I were talking about what they're telling us in projection of when they're going to be at our house, you go to www.cumberlandconnect.org and put in your zip code, and that'll give you a projection of when you can expect to see them. And I have heard nothing but rave reviews. Anybody on social media, I saw some stuff about people talking about it, and everybody's like, I love it, I love it, I love it, I love it. Nothing negative. And I mean, price wise, $80, guys, in comparison to what you're paying right now. I'm paying $65 to AT&T for terrible internet.
If you get universal acceptance on social media, you must be doing something right, because
You
they
bet.
can find something to hate on that or on anything.
You
So,
better believe
yeah,
it.
yeah.
So Cumberland Connect, guys, it is exciting for anybody that's a Cumberland Electric customer. Cumberland Connect, you are going to love them. Get in touch with them today and be sure and tell them that U-Turn and Brian and Tiffany sent you. Okay, Tiff. So car's broken down. What do you think happened? Do you think it's
I
battery?
don't know. I actually think it's a fuel pump.
Oh,
I think it's been
no.
going bad for a while.
You know, my
So
car's
it kinda
broken down
sputtered
too.
like I was out of gas, but
Your little SUV, the little
Yeah.
Okay, all right.
Anyway.
We'll get you squared away.
Yeah.
yeah.
I've got mine's going into Springfield Auto and Transmission today to get new plugs. The one that I've got out here, and my Yukon's broken down again. I need a. I don't even want to talk about it. Oh, this is
good to know I'm in good company.
Oh, my Yukon has been. I love my. This is the only one I've ever had trouble out of, and I bet I got $10,000 in this car. I'm not kidding,
Yeah.
and it's not good, and it's broken down again, and we think it's the transfer casing. Any of you that know anything about those cars, you're like,
That's a lot. Yeah.
so I need what was it? My Lee told me my transmission. He said we need a 149 transfer casing, Laverne. He thinks he hasn't taken it apart yet. So if you have a lead on that, call me. But anyway, I digress. I hope your car doesn't need a fuel pump.
I hope. But if it does, at least it's not a whole new engine.
This is true. This is true. But yeah, so 149 transfer case for me. I think that's what I'm going to need.
We hit months ago, and it was
Yeah.
like everything that could go wrong. My guy, shout out to Mike Byram, who's out in Adderall. He's a family friend, does all of our work. I told him last time I saw him, I said, Mike, I really like you. I enjoy catching up when I get here, but I hope I don't see you for quite some time.
Yes.
I'm tired of driving out here and writing you checks. So
Ain't that the truth,
yeah,
man?
but so I know it's part of having vehicles, and you try to keep them maintained, but yeah, they're going to break down. That's what they do.
My
so.
dad's mechanic was named Mike. He had the same mechanic his
Yeah.
whole life. He's retiring. My dad's not
Yeah.
happy about it.
Uh-oh.
Mike must be a good name for a good mechanic.
Good barber, good mechanic, doctor. Like, you find these things in life, you hold on to them very, very, very
Right?
dearly. Yes.
That is
Yes,
true.
you do.
Yes.
Yes, you do.
Yes.
And there's so many great mechanics around town, so I don't want to start
No, we're not
bringing-
advertising him. He just
Yeah.
and actually, we're taking our van in to Hollingsworth here local just to get some service. There's nothing wrong with it. It needs an oil change and tires rotated and all that stuff for trip next week. So yes, so
And I'm a big fan of Dean Oil too.
yeah,
Dave
they
Dean,
helped us.
all them guys.
Hey, and I
They're
want to say
great.
something about them too.
So many.
I
So
got a
many
little
great
story
ones.
about Dean Oil, just real quick. We had a lady call in, and she needed some help. Her battery was dead, and she was a part-time driver for Mid-Cumberland, one of our partners, and we were able to help her a little bit. And Dean Oil that day went out there, got her battery, went to her house, replaced it, and had her back on the road within a couple of hours. And that's just a little extra above and beyond. And we're talking about shopping local. I'm just using them
You
because
bet.
there's several good local
Yeah.
mechanics around here, but that you're not going to get that if you go to a chain or some of these national places. Like that is a local business move right there. So shop
and
local, folks.
It was just like I was saying. I'm getting the plugs replaced over here at Springfield Transmission. And they're over across from the fairgrounds, and it's so funny because when I broke down and literally kind of pulled into their parking lot because my friend Gwen Harder has been going there for a while, and so they are just wonderful too. So again, If you want to promote any other mechanics, put them up in the comments.
Yes,
and
we
we'll
love
do that.
Hey, we love
just love them
honest
all. We're just
mechanics.
trying to give them all some love.
Give me all the recommendations.
There you go.
There's a bunch of good ones.
I'm
We
new
love
enough
this
that we don't have a set mechanic.
There you go.
So.
There's plenty of good ones around here.
Oh, there's lots.
There really is. That are
Lots of good
that are
ones.
honest, that do good work,
That's
and
the
stand
key.
behind their work too.
That's
And they've
the
been here forever. That's if you got a mechanic that's been around for decades. I mean, you can't be like one of these kind of shiesty mechanics and get away with that in a small town. It's not just going to work. So you
Well,
got to
like-
do good work.
Like you said, it's like doctors. There's a doctor up in Madison, Dr. Pilkington, that, I mean, I think he's like in his 90s. He finally retired, and all the people who go to him, they're just like wringing their hands. What are we going to do?
Right.
This is
I just
like-
lost my doctor.
Yeah.
He retired,
Yeah,
and
yeah.
and so I'm looking for one just for
Yeah.
well checkups and physicals
Yeah.
and all that stuff. You lose your doctor. It's like yeah, it's hard to find them. So
Well, see, Brittany Jepson, she is a nurse practitioner, I think, is she? And we all call her Dr. Brittany.
Yeah.
She's not technically a
Yeah.
doctor, but she's as good as anybody
Yeah.
I've ever
That's
been
a great
to.
nurse practitioner.
Good land, she's
Yeah.
phenomenal. So I don't know. All right.
I got good news though.
What?
Today is my youngest daughter's 8th birthday.
Happy birthday.
Happy
What's her
name's
name?
Abigail.
Abigail, happy birthday to you. Very good. You can play this for her and say Mama.
I
Mimi."
will. I'm gonna go home and show her the video. So
Very
anyway,
good. Happy birthday, Abigail. 8.
8.
it's a fun age.
Yes.
Oh,
It's a
so
good
much
time.
fun.
Yeah.
It
Yeah.
So
is.
much
They're
fun.
still like into pretend a little bit, but you can have conversations with them. It's like magical.
I love it. I love that description. They're still into pretend, but you can have conversations with them. I love it. That's just excellent. That's spoken from a mother of many.
Yeah, that's true. That's true. That's true.
I love it because you got 5 kids.
I do. They get more cynical as they get older. So.
Oh, yeah, I got 4. So 2 kids.
Nothing.
2
Nothing.
kids. What are you talking about?
My son, he should count twice though. I should get extra credit for him or something. So
I have 4 sons.
I know.
So do I have 8?
You
Yeah,
could.
well,
Well,
I
the
don't know.
personality depends in there, right? You know,
Mine are all
oh,
something.
they're doing it.
They're
Yeah.
so fun. They're
Yeah.
so fun. But anyway, let me just real quick. I mentioned that I wanted to plug this real quick, and I ended up I've just been talking to Mo. Just rambling. Parent Power is coming up at the Springfield Baptist Church, and that is going to be on November 6th. And that is going to be happening from 6 to 7:15 p.m. If you want to know more about decisions, choices, and options and how parents can really plug in and make a difference in their kids' life, come and be a part of that. The chili cook-off, too, I want to mention. I've reached out, tried to get Devin to come on. I couldn't get a hold of her this morning. But Devin O'Day, one of my radio buddies from Nashville, and she does all the stuff for the Connection here locally and does shows. She's just awesome. She and I are going to get to host this together, and we're so excited. But that's on October 20th, 6 p.m. at the center. And so we want you to be there for the Heat Goes On Chili Challenge, and that's happening for Open Door Pregnancy and Resource Center. So we'll be talking more about that, but that's all I had on my list. So
That's awesome. I was eyeing that Parent Power thing. That looks pretty amazing.
That
I'll
is.
get more.
it is just, well, because, you know, the stuff that our kids are being exposed to. Here's some of the stuff that she mentions here. 55% of teens have provided information to a stranger online. 29% of teens have been contacted by a stranger online. 43% of teens change behavior if a parent is watching. They're sneaky. And 67% of teens know how to hide online activity from parents.
I would imagine that 43% change behavior might be higher.
Yeah.
I'm like,
Oh, I see that.
I got two teens. I think they both, if I walk in the room, all of a sudden are like, and not that they're doing anything bad or, you know, but they're just, you know, all of a sudden, oh, wait, am I doing what I'm supposed to be doing? I don't know.
Well, see, and I have the students as I walk through the classroom, because we're all behind computers. And so unless I'm constantly walking through the classroom, they're doing all kinds of stuff they're not supposed to be doing. Because I have another teacher, Coach White, that's on the other side, and he can step into, we share an office. He can step into his office, glance into my classroom, he goes, oh, Laverne. he's watching over their shoulders, and they don't know it, because he can just peek into my room, and he's like, yeah, they're on YouTube.
Yeah.
They're doing all kinds of stuff they're not supposed to be doing. And the minute that I step back from the desk, it's like, oh, back
They
on
know
what
how
they're
to switch
supposed to be
those
on.
screens really
Yes,
fast.
they do.
Is that any different than a bunch of adults sitting at their desk at work and when their boss walks around? I mean, really, if we're being honest. You know.
What he said.
Yes.
What he said.
On Facebook, Twitter, YouTube. Yes. Shop it on Amazon.
You get personal now.
Yeah. Well,
I do all those things at work.
Everybody does it, but yeah,
Yeah.
kids are no different. I know my daughter's 9. She has a little computer upstairs, and we let her like play on it. And she's got very proficient. But I do notice if I have to come upstairs for something, she clicks that button real like I don't know what it is like, and we don't have anything on it that she could get into at this age. But it's just the fact that like she doesn't want me to know whatever she was into at the time, whatever game she was playing, she's gonna. And it's just it starts early. That is terrifying. Some of those statistics though, because that gets real. That's it's not just
Really
messing
does.
around on YouTube. That stuff is real right there.
Yes, it is. And again, that's going to be November 6th at the Springfield Baptist Church. And it's not a lot. I mean, it's 6. This is one of those things I kind of like that it's 6 to 7:15. So it's just to come in and introduce you. It's going to be a short program. Now, they are going to have Chef's Market there with dessert and coffee. So, I mean, you're going to get some sweets and snacks and all that, too. But just an amazing program. I'm going to do my best. I talked to Joey. Joey Wassel's just a dear friend, and she's invited me to come be a part of that. I'm going to try. That's also CMA week, and my husband and I always work on the CMAs. So I don't know if I'm going to be available, but I'm going to try. I'm going to try to at least swing by there. It just depends on what the schedule is, but definitely go. I can't say enough about Decisions, Choices, and Options, man. They are amazing, amazing program. That's the chili cook-off that you're looking at there, Brian, and that's going to be fun. Are you going to enter your chili this time?
I might. It's been a while. I'm still kind of a little bit salty about what happened in 2019, but we're going to try to get past
Tell
that.
them just
Right.
They said you should.
There were shenanigans going on with the judges. I had good authority. So
shenanigans.
I'm kidding.
Maybe
I'm kidding.
I love it.
It's all for a great cause. So.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
And can't say enough about the work that they do over at Open Door. So we want to encourage you to get out to that. And one other thing I was going to mention is go to Adams. They've got so much going on. The smoke play is happening right now. Go and see what they've got going on in Adams. Learn the history of this old thing they call the Bell Witch. And I don't like all that ghost stuff, but there's a history behind it and how the tales got started, and something that I did not realize. And this is something Tim Henson mentioned to me. He said that a lot of these tales, my grandfather, I guess my papa would have been, I don't know how old he'd be if he's still around, maybe 110, 15, I don't know. But he would tell us all kinds of little ghost stories. But Tim was saying that a lot of that happened because of the time of slavery. People who owned slaves, or even their young children, one way that they would control them and keep them from wandering off at night and going and getting into stuff is they'd tell them all these ghost stories. And that would help them to not, go out and venture out, make them afraid of the dark, those kinds of things. They sought to do that. And so that's how a lot of this stuff got started. And that's the whole, history behind the Bell Witch is some tale that got told and people are like, oh yeah. And but it's just, so you got to know the history of it. But Adams is a wonderful community.
It is.
I'd love for them to be identified other than something by a witch. But just saying.
I went and saw the smoke play, which was amazing. I was bawling at the end.
I want to go see it.
The musical talent, and oh my goodness, it was amazing. So
Really?
I was blown away. Oh yeah.
And and that's happening, I'm wanting to say tonight, tomorrow night. It's the 6th, 7th, and 8th at 7 p.m. And tomorrow night and Saturday night might get sold out, but it's outside. You might be able to get tickets tonight. I may try to go since you're endorsing it so highly, because I really want to go.
Leadership Robertson County, and I didn't have very high expectations, and I was blown away. Like it was amazing. It's a musical, and
right?
The vocal talents are.
Oh, we've got.
Yeah, of course. I'm like, of course they're great. We're near Nashville. We've got a lot of great talent here. So
yeah.
Anyway.
So very good. I tell you what, let me go ahead and do another break, and we'll come back and we'll let y'all talk and do your stuff.
She's got her phone.
I got my phone.
Okay, she's ready to go.
I'm out. I got it.
But let's talk about Corbin Creek Greenhouse Gifts and Gardening Center. I was just there. First of the week I went by, I guess it was Sunday afternoon, and Amy and I talked. She's going to be coming on the show. I want to remind you, she's going to be coming on the show right before, I think, the last Thursday in October. I've got her scheduled because she is affiliated with the Sampler. that happens for Christmas. And so she's going to come in and talk about that. But I just, kind of want to tease that. But while she's in here, we'll ask her all about the things that they're doing at Corbin. And you need to remember that while they're coming up to the end of their season and they're finishing up with all the things that they have going on as far as the growing season, they do have fall color with beautiful pansies. They've got flats. They've got beautiful baskets. They're $15 a piece. If you want to also get, I've got some purple cabbage. It's winter cabbage that I put in my pots just for some fall color. And they have got that in lieu of their mums this year. They didn't get their mums planted because Miss Jane was sick at the time. And if you know Amy, Miss Jane comes first, and she makes no apologies for that. She goes, but people are stopping by. They're expecting to see mums because we've had them for, I think she said 30 years. Wow. But go by and see them today and pick up some beautiful pansies for your fall garden and your fall decor. And remember, too, that they've also got their perennials 25% off. I picked up a couple of perennials the other day that are going to come back. Even though they're at the end of their season now, they're going to come back next year. And get them for 25% off. And they are your CBD source. If you want to check out CBD and see if it could help you with any kind of inflammation issue, maybe you're having trouble sleeping, maybe you step into a bunch of fire ants like Brian did and you have that experience. I went and bought a great big giant thing of salve to send to my mom just on Sunday because she uses it. She has all kinds of, we were in a terrible car accident when I was in 4th grade. And she got the brunt of it. We were hit by a drunk driver, and she had all kinds of injuries. And they told her then that she was going to have a problem with her arthritis. In those, anytime you have a traumatic injury, arthritis settles there. So all these places where she had problems from the accident, a terrible arthritic for her. And this salve and things that are CBD related have helped her tremendously. Go and check it out. And they're Robertson County CBD. If you want to know more, call 615-384-3185, 615-384-3185. They're open right now 7 days a week. They'll start cutting those hours back whenever it gets colder and colder. But check them out on Facebook. That is the best place to find out what's going on with Corbin Creek Greenhouse Gifts in Springfield, Tennessee. Find them on Facebook. And when you talk to them, always please tell them U-Turn sent you. Okay. United Way is in the house.
I enjoyed our little extra ketchup tab. That was that was fun.
Wasn't that fun? We just had all kinds of fun in here.
If you were listening this morning, you got a wide array of topics covered. You should be good to go for it.
You just never know. Oh, and buckle up tomorrow because Gwen Harder and I, we're going to talk about the Didache.
The what?
The Didache. It is an ancient book. It was basically a pamphlet type.
Yeah.
For the early church and the guidelines of how they could become a part of the way.
Okay.
That was discovered.
I'll have to get that. What time is she on?
She comes in at 7:30. She says she's going to get here early tomorrow. But yeah, we're going to talk about the Didache. It's something that I've just recently found out about because of the studies I've done with Christy McClellan. Yeah. And I'm like, I didn't even know this was a thing. Right. It's fascinating. But we're going to talk about the Didache tomorrow. You just never know what you're going to get on this program.
We can always be learning.
There you go.
Absolutely.
So what you got for us,
I just want to give a little shout out for your advertisements because of your bus advertisement, my husband quit his job and became a bus driver. And he's in training, but yeah.
Are you kidding me?
Your advertisements are working.
Okay, Mr. Heinerman. We get credit for that one. I'm so excited.
Your husband is...
He's the security and safety coordinator for the transportation department.
Yeah.
So we got a connection here of the Robertson County Transportation
I'm telling you, that is so awesome.
Yeah, he just sent me a text. Have a shout out for bus drivers. So I guess they're still looking for more bus drivers.
Oh yes.
Hey, and this is a great little segue here, as we say, for our hero of the week, because we've been wanting to do this one. Our bus drivers here in the county, God bless y'all, seriously. And I asked my daughter this, and she said, you need to talk with the bus drivers because they help get us not just to and from school, but their field trips, summertime programs, all of this stuff. Thank you for what you do. And they need people to do it. And I know it's not an easy job because, you're driving and you're dealing with the kids, but we've got ones in this county who have done it for a long time. When we did the in-person stuff, the bus, and I know they did it again this year, but when we did it last year for the United Way, they stepped out and helped us. And so just amazing people that get our kids safely to and from school. They're out in the cold, it's early in the morning, and like I said, and then all the extra stuff, the ball games, all the extra stuff they do that you don't even realize. And so shout out to our bus drivers. Thank you for what you do.
Hero of the week. Yes. We'll have bus safety not next week but the next week, and we're going to reach out to Mr. Heinerman, different ones to have them in. So there we go.
That's awesome.
Yeah.
I love
Yeah.
it.
Yeah.
I'm so
So he's
tickled.
officially, when's he start? Is he started?
He's officially started with, I mean, he's in training. So right now
Yeah.
he's just riding with a bus driver, but we got his benefits package yesterday. And now that they can go to the
Clinic? Yeah.
I was like, oh my goodness, this is nice.
Yeah.
This is
yeah.
so
the free
so
clinic.
nice. So
yeah.
Yeah.
so there's a lot of benefits for working for the school district.
You
Yes.
bet.
I'm super
Dr.
Can't say
excited.
enough
Causey is
about it.
somewhere smiling. If
He's
you
going,
can see
good
it.
job, people. Good job.
But
Good
our
job.
nonprofits are also doing awesome things this week. I want to make sure we have time to
Go
talk
for it.
about some certain things. One of them is My Father's House is having an open house on Sunday, October 9th, this Sunday from 2 to 4 p.m. So go see. It's the building, the WeB3 Honey building. They turned part of that into a shelter, and so go and see. It's an open house. Come see what they're doing, learn more about their mission, and I'm really excited to go and to learn more about Our Father's House.
Charlene has actually put it in comments.
Oh.
And so I was going to mention it if you didn't.
Yeah.
But yeah, and we've got a little piece that my audio video class has recorded on them that we're trying to edit down. It's really long, so we're going to roll that out pretty soon here. But yeah, go out and see open house Sunday 2 to 4.
Yes.
And very good.
Yes.
What
So
else you
super
got?
excited about that. We have, tomorrow, we're looking for anybody who's interested in becoming a partner with United Way or currently a partner with United Way. We're opening our new funding cycle. So tomorrow morning at the Stokes Brown Library at 8:30 is our funding breakfast to learn more about how to fund. There'll be Historic Perk is providing food and also coffee, of course. And so come if you have a nonprofit and are interested, get in touch with me and we'll go from there. So that's one of the things we're excited about. It's going on. And then we've got another one thing I wanted to mention was Clarissa Gardner. She came in here with me that one time. She has a nonprofit called Chosen, and they have a Fall into Fun Fall Fest. That's a lot to say.
Say that 3 times really fast.
Hold on. Fall into Fun Fall Fest. Saturday, October 22nd, 2 to 5 p.m. And so there'll be music, games, fall crafts, face painting, and me. So, you want to come out. It's at the Bransford site. And so it'll be a fun. There's so many fall fests going on.
Yeah.
Oh,
And
We have no shortage of that here.
the Boo Bash Dash.
Oh, of course, yes.
And
we got
that's on the Saturday before Halloween
the 29th.
for CASA.
Yes, for CASA. Come and run for a kid. The greatest thing about CASA is that a lot of times they're like, oh, if you donate this much, we can buy this thing or we can furnish this thing. With CASA, what you're giving a kid is hope. Because it will help us train advocates. I was thinking about that this morning, that they go through a 30-hour training process, which is the equivalent of several university classes. You could almost get like a minor in advocacy by taking this 30-hour class. And so, in fact, I wonder how many hours do you have to have for a minor? Probably,
I'm not sure.
Probably close to 30.
Yeah,
So I'm like,
seriously.
So
Am I like a
it's
college minor?
yeah, that's what
I
I'm
don't
talking about.
remember.
Yeah.
I think that sounds about right.
Yeah.
though. It's been a long time.
So basically you're getting a very good education in advocacy in general, and which is such a needed skill in this contentious day and age that we live in, to be able to speak up for things that matter. So anyway, shout out for Boo Bash Dash. And
Very good.
CASA.
Very good. I tell you what, y'all be thinking about if there's anything else we need to cover, and I'll go ahead and talk about our last sponsor, Barry and Rebecca Richards with the Exit Realty Garden Gate team, my friends up in Cross Plains. I met them at the Kilgore Station Bluegrass Festival and known them for a long time, and they are just a great couple. And it's so interesting, their story, and I didn't really fully understand their story until a couple of weeks ago when I found out that Rebecca's background was actually in radiology, and I've known that Barry came out of a marketing background. He was a vice president of a marketing company up in Nashville for many, many years, and they both had an interest in real estate, had somebody say, hey, you'd be really great at this. Rebecca was the first one. She's been at it for a long time, one of the first in the area to be a seniors real estate specialist. And then having her husband being a marketer always helped her and gave her an edge in the real estate community, because if people don't know your property is available, you're not going to get top dollar. So having Barry on her team has always been helpful. And then she finally got him to go full time with real estate, and they're just doing amazing stuff around the community. They specialize in Robertson County properties, but they also buy and sell in the surrounding counties across the state line up in Kentucky. Barry is one of those that does a lot of photography and video for other realtors because he's so good at it. But he can do those walkthrough 360-degree virtual reality tours, get you up on Realtor.com. He's a Zillow certified photographer, licensed and insured drone pilot. People want drone footage now because you can. So all the things, they've got it covered. And if you want to be a part of what they're doing, maybe you want to be a realtor, and somebody said, hey, you'd be good at this, give them a call and find out more. 615-504-7425. 615-504-7425. You can connect with them as well at sellwithbecky.com, sellwithbecky.com, or robertsoncounty.com. And when you get in touch with them, tell them always U-Turn sent you. And as we continue on with the show, talking to Tiffany Thompson, Brian Pulley from the United Way. Anything else that we've missed out on?
I got a little something, just because Tiffany was mentioning our partner breakfast in the morning as we getting ready to open up this new funding cycle. And I always would, just as a reminder, the way we're able to fund these partners is through our campaign dollars.
Right.
And there's other ways. I mean, we do have grants and individual donors and other ways that revenue comes in. But the backbone of the United Way, which United Way of Greater Nashville, again, is celebrating 100 years this year. And so the backbone of the way we've operated for 100 years is with companies, big, medium, small, stepping up and running corporate campaigns. I had a kickoff, or a couple of kickoffs yesterday with Quick Trip, the QT Markets. They're all over Middle Tennessee.
Oh, yeah.
They're kind of growing. It's a really unique and kind of cool company. I've learned a little bit more about them working with them. But their employees, okay, these are their store workers. I don't know what they make per hour, but the generosity that they displayed, and then also some of the questions that were asked, they deal with the public front facing every day, coming in off the street, coming in off the interstate, whatever. And so one of the guys, he asked if I would print him a resource list so that then when they're dealing with people, they could direct them to the proper resources. So not only are they helping us with our corporate campaign with giving money out of their paycheck, and then QT also has a corporate donation with that, but also like they are assisting us basically with the community impact side and pointing them towards resources. Of course, told them about 2-in-1, but I made a resource list for them because they deal with so many people. But it's just a good example of when we talk about a partnership, that's a partnership. You know what I mean? Like we're partners in this together, and they're serving their community, but then also, they were asking us like, well, I can only give this, that. And I was like, that is the backbone of what your $2 per check donation, and you spread it out all over the greater Nashville area. That is the backbone of what we do. We're able to fund these partners and let them do the work that they need to do, because as Tiffany said many times, a lot of these are volunteer run organizations, and they don't have time to go out and fundraise and do all this stuff. And so that the funding that comes through them is essential to what they do and their mission here. So just a reminder, and it's not a heavy lift. We'll make it super easy. We got all these mobile calls now, where you just do it on your phone. Everybody thinks of paper pledges. Like, we've made it's super easy. So if you're interested, let me know. We're also going to have, and we're going to talk more about this at a later date, but Give Thanks is rapidly approaching in November. We'll should have marketing materials hopefully any day, and we've had some companies reach out, and so I'll be sending those out, and we'll be putting them on our social media and everything, but just be aware of that too. So there's multiple ways to get involved, but a corporate campaign is our backbone.
What is the day that y'all usually distribute those? Is it the full Friday before Thanksgiving?
Last year it changes a little bit. I think this year it's around the 13th, 14th. It's around the second week, so we try to stay the week before. We'll get those dates out. We're still working through that, because last year, we had a big donation from Electrolux, and that was a big bulk of what we did here, and we're still working through what we're going to do with them and what that's going to look like. But we will get those dates out. It's just some moving pieces as you work with like facility to host, the companies and all that, but it will be around that time. But we should have a date and everything locked in, I'd say any day now. So we're working with our marketing folks and the people that run all these events with the bigger office to figure out all that stuff.
Very good.
Yeah.
It's awesome. Anything else, Tiff?
Thanks. Thank you for that. I had a lot of thoughts while I was talking, and now
I know you have to make notes. If I don't make notes while I'm thinking,
I rambled too long. My bad.
No, you did not. It's all good information, but you think there's
good.
like little rabbits we want to chase, and then then they get away from us.
Absolutely. I've got my standard every third Tuesday of each month at 5:30 at the Stokes Brown Library is overdose prevention training, where you can save a life learning how to use
Narcan.
Thank you. Narcan. I was going to say Suboxone. I'm like, no. Anyway, Narcan. So yeah, every Every Tuesday, and they're starting to get that ramp back up after COVID, so that kind of went away.
Tuesday, you said.
Third Tuesday. Yep, third Tuesday at the library at 5:30. So stop by after work, learn how to save a life, become a hero, and be back on your way. It'll be great. So I wanted to give a shout out for that, and then also Raise Your Hand is an initiative being carried out by United Way in our school districts here in Robertson County. We've spread out to help with after-school tutoring, reading, and math. And so we are still looking for volunteers. You can go to our website and find a way and link into volunteer for Raise Your Hand. So anyway, but we have great work happening here in Robertson County, and it's amazing to see. I was helping unload the food truck at the food bank yesterday, and just the amount of volunteers that came out to help unload the food truck and pass out from second harvest delivery was yesterday, and it was just amazing.
It fills you up, doesn't it?
Hands and feet are working in this county, and
it.
If you looking for volunteer opportunities, plug in with Tiffany. There's so many out there. We can get you going. There's one next week too before we get off.
Oh, absolutely.
October 15th. Yes. United Ministries is having their food giveaway. Do you know the time? I can't remember the time off the top of my head. It's in the morning. I'll say 8 o'clock. Let's say 8 o'clock.
Let's say 8 o'clock.
Yeah, behind Springfield.
There you go.
Behind Springfield Baptist Church.
Very good.
So if you are in need, and that's the one that has like produce and milk and all that good stuff. And then again, United Ministry just does amazing work throughout the year. But that they do 2 of those a year, and their fall one is next Friday.
If you are in need, or if you are in need of an opportunity to serve, because we're looking for volunteers to help unload the truck and load people's cars and help out. So direct traffic maybe, or
It's pending. We need some help directing traffic.
might
Just
never
line up.
Come and show up. That's the thing, Charles.
We filled your time up.
All right, yes, you did. You did it beautifully. I love you guys. And Lee Marie will be with y'all next week, remember?
I'm out next week, fall break time for me and the kiddos. I'll be
Okay.
down for a few days, but I'll be back the week after.
All right, so we'll figure it out. But Lee Marie will be on next week. And real quick, too, she sent me a note saying there is some pre-K room at Joan Burns Elementary, East Robertson, and Robert F. Woodall in Bransford. Go to the Robertson County Schools to check it out. It's a voluntary pre-K. If you want to get your kids registered for that, go and check it out today. Tomorrow, join us for Faith Friday and the Didicky. I can't wait. This is 1100 WSGI. God bless.
Happy birthday, Abby.